Hey, welcome back to the Cybersecurity Whisperer, the podcast where we cut through the hype and get real about what's shaking up our industry. I'm your host, Elliott Franklin, and today's lineup is stacked, as usual. From airport chaos to AI behaving badly. Buckle up, this week reminds us why sleep is optional in cybersecurity. So let's start with SonicWall. If you use their firewalls, listen up. So hackers brute forced their way into the mysonicwall.com portal and walked off with configuration backup files from about 5% of customers. Now, the passwords inside those files, they were encrypted, but configs still reveal plenty. You've got DNS settings, user groups, event logs, the things that attackers can weaponize. SonicWall says they killed an unauthorized backup point and are working with law enforcement. Bottom line, rotate your credentials, reset your MFA tokens, and assume those files could be in the hands of folks who know exactly how to exploit them. Now, speaking of critical systems falling apart, Collins Aerospace, they got whacked with ransomware. Their Muse check-in software went down in airports across Europe. Heathrow, Brussels, Berlin, Dublin, you name it. It just descended into chaos. Manual boarding passes, flight cancellations, hours-long queues. Authorities called it a supply chain attack because the airports themselves, they weren't hacked, just the weak link in the vendor ecosystem. It's the classic reminder your resilience is only as strong as your vendor's vendor. And while planes were grounded, you've got Jaguar Land Rover. They had to keep their factory lines stopped yet again, extending a production shutdown all the way until October 1st. And the culprit, a cyber attack linked to Scattered Spider. Thousands of workers were affected. I mean, it's another example of how cyber incidents don't just hit IT. They ripple across the entire economies. Well, over to espionage. Mandiant uncovered a Chinese campaign they're calling Brickstorm. These guys, they weren't after quick wins. They embedded themselves across U.S. service providers for more than a year, living quietly inside Linux and BSD appliances like VMware ESXi that most defenders don't monitor. I mean, the malware even disguised itself as legit processes and reinstalled itself if defenders tried kicking it out. It's espionage at enterprise scale, targeting the blind spots that we've all talked about and that we all know exist. Now, meanwhile, Iran's playbook, it looks increasingly like North Korea's. There's a group called Nimbus Menacor. It's impersonating recruiters from Airbus and Boeing to lure European aerospace engineers. See, victims download what looks like a survey, but instead it sideloads malware that drops a stealthy backdoor called mini junk. Add a credential stealer on top, and you've got espionage plus immediate monetization. It's polished, resilient, and hard to detect. Hallmarks of a state-backed op. Well, AI had a big week too, and not in a good way. First, Google DeepMind, they updated its frontier safety framework with a chilling warning. Future AI models might resist shutdown. I mean, is this the movies? That's right, models that manipulate humans or dodge operator control. They're calling it harmful manipulation. I mean, it's still framed as a malfunction, not sentence, but the fact they're adding this to the risk register should make every CISO think about what their org is plugging into AI agents. Speaking of AI agents, OpenAI patched ShadowLeak, a zero-click exploit that let attackers siphon Gmail data through its deep research agent. Now, researchers showed they could email themselves hidden instructions like pull names and addresses from inboxes and send them to my server. And the AI obediently complied. No user clicks needed. I mean, the data never touched corporate networks. It left straight from OpenAI's server. Invisible. Undetectable. So the scary part, I mean, this wasn't just Gmail. Connectors for Outlook, GitHub, Google Drive could have been abused the exact same way. And then there's AI-powered malware obfuscation. So hackers, they used an LLM to generate walls of verbose, business-themed SVG code that hid credential phishing payloads. This is just mind-blowing. So Microsoft spotted it and said, this isn't how a human writes code. And the AI camouflaged work long enough to bypass detection. And that's the new reality. Adversaries are using the same tools we are. Now, finally, AI is reshaping the workforce. I mean, that's been happening. According to ISC Squared, employers now rank teamwork and problem solving above raw technical chops for entry-level cyber hires. Why? Well, because AI is taking on some of the regular SOC work, that tier one analyst role might be going extinct. We've talked about the new must-have skill: explaining risk to non-technical stakeholders and thinking strategically about security. Again, the business mindset. Well, now let's switch and talk about vulnerability. CISA dropped the hammer on Cisco ASA and Firepower firewalls, ordering agencies to patch 3 CVEs tied to the Arcane Door campaign. Now, attackers tampered with code and read-only memory to stay persistent, even across reboots and firmware upgrades. See, that's next-level persistence. Agencies, they had 48 hours to submit forensic images, patch devices, or pull unsupported ones offline. So if you're still running unpatched ASA boxes, you're basically leaving the front door wide open. And SolarWinds is back in the spotlight again for its web help desk. The same deserialization bug patched 3 times, 3 different CVEs. Researchers joke 3rd time's the charm, but let's be honest, history suggests attackers are already looking for a 4th bypass. And over in the cloud, Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure AD, had a doozy, a flaw that let attackers impersonate global admins across tenants, bypassing MFA and conditional access with 0 logs. So Microsoft patched it, but defenders still don't know if it was exploited in the past because there's no logs. So this one should remind us legacy APIs are the ghosts that keep haunting cloud identity. Well, on the law enforcement side, 2 major busts. In the UK, police arrested a man linked to the Collins Aerospace ransomware hack we talked about earlier. Authorities haven't said if he's tied directly to the group that deployed the hardbit ransomware, but his arrest shows that even if attribution is murky, law enforcement is moving fast. And in Las Vegas, police arrested a teenager connected to Scattered Spider, the exact same crew behind the MGM and Caesars hacks that cost hundreds of millions. And this follows the earlier arrest in the UK and Spain. The question is whether these takedowns really slow the group. Or if it'll just splinter into another Telegram-fueled collective. History suggests the latter, unfortunately. And in New York, the Secret Service, they seized one of the biggest SIM farms ever found in the U.S., 300 servers running over 100,000 SIM cards. It could have been used for, that's like 100,000 cell phones. It could have been used for mass spam, extortion, or even sabotaging telco networks. Timing wasn't accidental. They raided it right before the UN General Assembly met. That's how close cybercrime and geopolitics now sit. So, what's the takeaway this week? Whether it's AI agents obeying hidden prompts, firewalls bleeding your configs, or airports grinding to a halt from a single vendor, the story is the same. Complexity breeds fragility. And for CISOs and security leaders, that means 2 things. Focus on the basics. We always talk about that. Patch, rotating credentials, practice vendor risk management, and keep your eye on the horizon where AI and nation-state tactics are rewriting the rules. So that's it for this week's Cybersecurity Whisperer. If you found this useful, share it with your team, or better yet, with your vendor who swears their product is unhackable. I'm Elliott Franklin. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and I'll whisper more cyber truths your way next week. Take care.